guys, it's Alexi coming at you with this week's installment of Retro Gaming Goodness. While the releases are slowing down a teensy bit, we won't miss a beat when it comes to snagging the ones that bring the most interest, especially on the old school side of things. Whether it be exploding pixels or handhelds that get smaller by the day, best believe we're here to talk about it. Yes, I know they're pretty much on opposite sides of the spectrum, so if you're down for some tank warfare, space shooting, pint-sized handhelds, then stick around for your retro dose of awesomeness. But before that, make sure to like and subscribe so you'll always be up to date with the latest retro news. Click that bell icon so you'll know exactly when our news goes live. Let's go! We got a special treat for all the ZX Spectrum owners who love a bit of action with a side of pixel mortar shells. Fransouls dropped chaotic yet cool action shooter that goes by the name of Hell Tank, and it's currently available on itch.io. The premise is simple enough. You play as the Hell Tank, where you blast away enemy helicopters, battleships, land vehicles, and even some flying bombers. Yes, Hell Tank doesn't play by your conventional rules of warfare. Hell Tank does not care. The game features 25 levels of a war-torn world ruled by an evil dictator and his oppressive forces. As Hell Tank, it's your job to save the world, all the while just shooting upwards. Easy enough, right? So if you want to blow stuff up without owning a license to drive heavy military vehicles, then you might want to check out Hell Tank instead. We'd be remiss if we forgot about the Amiga for too long, so we're happy to announce that you can finally dust off that Commodore for some much-needed space exploration. This week, we're looking at yet another awesome port from JOTD, who brought us some nicely converted classics like Donkey Kong, Super Bagman, Karate Champ, and more. Going back to the Commodore Amiga, we're now looking at a release featuring the Taito classic from the 80s, Phoenix 500. For those unfamiliar, Phoenix is a fixed shooter that has you controlling a small spaceship with a very limited arsenal. It's all about dodging enemies and their attacks as they come at you from above, wave after wave. It's pretty intense, and that's why it's a classic. It features 5 stages that you can replay for as long as you want. It's one of the ultimate classic challenges that made arcades way more fun in the 80s. Now that it's on the Amiga, we think it's best you give it a spin yourself. Now, for a handheld that blows all the other handhelds out of the water, if we're talking about size alone. Yes, size does matter, but this time it's all about how small you can go. The MagicX XU Mini M is set to be one of the smallest handheld consoles with a 2.8-inch screen, tactile buttons, and actual joysticks. Now, if you remember how the Game Boy Pocket didn't actually fit into your pocket way back when, then you must be pretty stoked for this. For the next broke the news online, stating that this little doohickey is gunning for Anbernic and Miyu while rocking Linux and Arc OS with some stereo speakers. Quite the challenge right there. It'll be sporting a Rockchip RK3562 chipset, 1GB of LPDDR4 RAM, and a surprisingly generous 2600 mAh battery. Now that's a good amount of power for such a small device. That being said, it won't be supporting Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. This could be a problem for most handheld owners, but that's something to think about once it drops globally next month. As for the games you can play on it, we've yet to see a full list. Based on the early photos, we just might be able to run some classic PlayStation and Nintendo 64 games. So if you're looking to score one of the smallest consoles in the XU Mini M, then stay tuned. And there you have it, another week of sweet retro gaming goodness. If you have suggestions for any news to cover or if we missed anything, you know the drill. Let us know down below. As always, don't forget to like the video so YouTube's algorithm shows us some love. Again, I'm Alexi, and I'll catch you all again next time.